it's Rosalyn from Rosalyn's Creations, and today I want to show you how I made this little box. It's made using basic grey, real red, and I've stamped on the top using the Swirly Bird stamp set, and I've taken two images from there, which is the little swirl and the little sort of splashes. Okay, and I've done those in silver embossing powder, so I've used Versamark and the silver embossing powder to make this image on the top. We've scored on it to make a panel. I've made my own post-it notes to use to mask it off around the edge, and to do that I cut strips of printer paper and I ran a two-way glue pen along each edge, just to give you, and you leave it to dry and then it becomes like a temporary glue, so you can then press it around your images and it becomes a masking paper. Okay, I've wrapped around in a silver ribbon and tied it off in a square knot, and I think you'll agree it's quite a pretty way to wrap up a small present or gift. Okay, let me show you how I made this box. To make my card project today, I am using basic grey cardstock and real red. The basic grey cardstock I have cut at 8 inches by 11 inches, and I have already scored this at 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. The real red cardstock I've cut at 8 1/8 by 11 1/8, and on this I've already scored it at 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 inches on all 4 sides, and then I popped it back into my scoring board, and I came in 1/2 inch from both sides, and I scored a square into the centre of this top. This is going to be the lid and this is the base. I also previously have chopped an ordinary piece of printer paper into 2-inch strips, and where's it gone? There it is. And I've run the two-way glue pen down the edge. So I've, in essence, I've made myself a long piece of post-it notes. That's just going to be used for masking up my project. And I've got 4 pieces of those. Okay. Right, the stamp set I'm using today is the Swirly Bird stamp set, and I am using the small swirl here, which I've already got mounted up on my B block. I have got the splatter stamp out as well, but I may not use this. I've mounted that on the C block. I'm also going to be doing some stamping, so I'm using a Versamark and I'm going to be embossing it, so I'm using silver embossing powder and my embossing buddy. Okay, let's get started. Right, we're going to start with the lid, and I'm going to use those pieces of printer paper, and I'm just going to mask off just up to that line in the middle where I've scored out the box in the middle. And we're going to mask all 4 sides using the sort of homemade post-it notes. Whoops. Okay, using the embossing buddy, I'm just going to prepare that so nothing else sticks. And using Versamark and my swirly image, I'm just going to randomly stamp all over this image. There's no real pattern to it, it's just really random. And because of the masking paper, you can go off the edge without marking your cardstock. I think I will use the small splatters and just fill in a few gaps in between. There we are. I'm going to pop a little bit of embossing powder over that. Just fetch a piece of printer paper. And tip that off. Okay, we can now peel off this post-it note. And I'm going to take that to the heat gun to emboss it. I'll be right back after I've done that. Okay, now I've finished embossing that and I think it looks quite pretty. Now we need to cut it out. We're going to start with the base and we're literally going to, let me just chip that side, chop in, wedge into the square and miter, and we're going to do that on all four corners. Chop in, miter into the square and miter off the edge. And the lid, I'm going to use my bone folder and fold and burnish. On all four sides. and then we're going to do similar but not quite the same. So we're going to cut straight up to the second line on the edge, on those 2 points. We're going to miter the top edge, we're going to chop that edge off, miter that one, and then miter into the 2 edges there, just to cause a tab. I'll pop this down so you can see, and that's the shape you'll end up with. And I'm going to do that on all 4 sides, so as soon as I've done that I'll come back with you. Okay, so we have 2 pieces now. We have the base. I haven't folded and burnished that. I need to do that right now. Okay, we now have the base. And we have the lid like that. So on the 4 corners the tabs are coming outwards and on the short end, and the same on the lid. But the lid is going to be a reinforced image, a reinforced edge. Okay, so I'm just going to put some adhesive on the edges here. On the base I'm just going to put it along on the tabs, so we'll quickly do that. And but on the top, on the lid, we need to put it on the little tabs here, and then we need to turn it over and put it along this edge on all 4 sides. So I'll just do that and then I'll be right back with you. I'm turning it over, and on the inside edge we put a long strip. Okay, now that we have all of this tape in these corners, I'm going to just take them off and build our box. That's our base. And now for the lid, we take off the tab, and fold it in. Lining up the edges there, the same on the other end. Now we need to take off these long strips. Don't do it before that you get to this stage, otherwise they'll stick together. So and it becomes harder to handle. So do it at this stage and just press it down in. Get your bone folder and make it really sharp. That makes for a really crisp edge. And there we have our lid. Okay, the lid will fit on the box because we've made allowances in the initial measurements so that the lid fits without gapping at all. Okay, right, I'm going to wrap this around the parcel. It under and back up, and then we'll tie in a flat knot on the top. Like so. And just trim them up, and we can pull the ribbon into the position we want it. Okay, there we have it. It's a nice little box, a bit different to my normal wrapping up, because I wanted to make it look a little bit special. And I hope you like my box. It's got all the embossing on it as well, just to make it that little bit prettier. Okay, thank you very much for joining me, and I will be back with you soon with a new video. Thank you, goodbye.